Match day 26 in the Premier League was a blast. The midweek games produced all the results and excitement that we hoped for, and gave us a lot of consequences at the top of the table and at the bottom as well. Anyways, getting straight into all the best talking points, starting with the top of the table, Victor. Arsenal faced a tough game against Brentford and could only manage 1 point, a difficult game where maybe it just seemed like a fair result for both sides.
Yeah.
But now the main takeaway is that the lead for Arsenal at the top is now down to 4 points. And the question is, should Arsenal start to panic?
No, I don't think so. Sure, it's 4 points, and there are a couple of difficult fixtures coming up for Arsenal, but they will also very likely hold an advantage thanks to the Wolves game. City will have a game in hand for a while since the Palace fixture has not been scheduled yet, but it will add some pressure on them once Arsenal beat Wolves. Now, naturally, Arsenal need to win against Wolves in this scenario, but I'll also go ahead and say this. If you don't beat Wolves, you should not have title aspirations.
Well, so that's a certain Manchester club that is not City. But anyways, over to you, Maxine. What was a tightly contested game? Liverpool handed Sunderland their first defeat at home so far this season, which means every team has now suffered defeat at home. Yeah, thank goodness for that. But the question is, how big is that result for Liverpool, and what could it mean for Sunderland as well?
Well, for the Liverpool, it definitely shows that they're still in the race for the Europe, because the gap was quite big before that match day, but Chelsea and United both played at draws, so the gap is now only 2 and 3 points. This definitely shows that they have a lot of potential for making UCL, but for the Sunderland, it's more or less concludes the end of fairy tale run for the Europe, as everybody were dreaming for Sunderland. Now it just seems like they're more or less just guaranteed a place for the next season, which I guess is a great result. If you ask before the season, I mean, obviously fans would love to hear that they would finish somewhere around 10th place. So I'd say it's not the end of the world that they lost their unbeaten run at home. It's still a decent result for the newly promoted team to be the last one to have unbeaten run at home. So I'd say they shouldn't be upset, and yeah.
Fair point. And back to you, Victor. Aston Villa returned to winning ways with a 1-0 victory over Brighton. Are they still in prime position for a top 4 finish?
Yeah, I think they look good for a UCL spot at the moment. Top 5 will most likely be enough again this season, and Liverpool are in 6th. Villa are 8 points ahead of them. I think it should be enough. They looked good against Brighton, and they have Leeds at home in the Prem and Wolves away next. So I think that should bring them another 6 points in all seriousness. The games after that, though, are crucial for them because they're up against Chelsea and Man United, one after the other. Even if they only manage draws in those games, I think that should already see them over the line for the UCL spots.
Yeah, very, very much correct. So back to you, Max. Burnley produced one of the results of the round after scoring 3 goals in 7 minutes to come from 2 goals down to beat Crystal Palace 3-2. I mean, it's not much to take home, but it's perhaps a late chance of survival for Burnley.
I mean, you would dream for that, but obviously the margin is a little too high for them. Even now the gap is 9 points and it will probably rise. But for the Palace, I just don't really understand why Glasner is still on the team. Honestly, I mean, yeah, he already mentioned that he's leaving in summer, but what is the point of keeping him? It just feels like team is not believing themselves already. When you concede 3 goals at the end of the first half against one of the worst team in league at home, that says a lot about you. And I would probably leave the team right in that time break between the house if I'm on Glasner's place. So it just feels like they're losing everything they were used to win last season now, and it just doesn't pay off for me to keep him at team.
Honestly, in my opinion, conceding 3 goals to Burnley in 7 minutes, it's a sackable offense. To me, it's a sackable offense. But anyways, the final question for this video, Victor, speaking about the relegation dogfight once again, will Nottingham Forest regret not grabbing, crucial points against Wolves? And the second question is, what do you make of their decision to sack Sean Dyche?
Yeah, it's not a good call in my opinion. The first thing this club needs at the moment is stability. But Marinakis is now going to appoint a 4th manager of the season. This is obviously a record for the Prem. This is the sort of thing you see in the wastelands of Eastern Europe, in Romania and stuff like that. Forest have Liverpool at home up next. And it would have been great to have Dyche still in charge to try to shore them up in defense and try to frustrate Liverpool. But here we are. The biggest problem is now, if you're a decent coach looking for a job in the Prem, do you even consider going to a club like Forest, knowing that you'll be given very little time and not much backing in the market either? For the club and for the sake of the supporters, I hope and I still think they will stay up this season, but they definitely need a reset in the summer. Ideally, a takeover by someone who understands what it means to own a football club. It's a bit more than getting free tickets to games and the right to chop and change whenever the mood strikes you. So I'm at the moment very much in the Marinakis out bandwagon, but who am I to say I'm not a Forest fan?
Well, hopefully Marinakis does not come across this video, so it's not going to come for our channel.
Or
Maybe.
hopefully he does.
Well, we'll never know. But yeah, we've still got more Premier League talking points to discuss, and we'll be doing all of that in another video, so stay tuned.